Hello, this is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. Oh, I didn't say hello, Mixtresses and Mixters. Okay, so, I do want to provide enough information for anyone that came to this video if you are trying to decide between these two decks. However, also, just in case this is the first time you've ever shown up on my channel, I am a very, scattered, parenthetical, meandering, non-linear person. So it's not going to be super straight and to the point, as I'm sure you can see. I assume this is going to be a long-ass video because story time. Settle in with a beverage, as they say. Today I am drinking coffee out of a Roadrunner mug. How cool is that? This used to belong to my grandma. I don't know, she probably got this in like the 70s or something, right? Don't you think? Just the same pattern repeating. Love it so much. One of my favorite mugs. So, in the last 48 hours, both of these tarot decks ended up on my porch. Moonchild I ordered from Poshmark, which I had never done before, and it was not as advertised. As you'll see, this deck is very damaged, and I spent close to probably around 2 hours total yesterday cleaning every single card with a wet washcloth because there was grime stuck in like the grooves of the embossing on the backs of the cards especially. Almost all the cards are creased. Anyway, you'll see. It was advertised as new, and I paid what I would consider a new price for the deck. I had to open up a dispute with Poshmark because the seller was doubling down, saying that no, it was in perfect condition. I only shuffled it once. As you will see, not the case. But anyway, so I'm supposed to return this one and get my money back. Although, I don't know, Libra indecisiveness is all over the place right now. Because I like the imagery in the original Moonchild better than the Shadow Moonchild, which is why I had this pre-ordered since, I think it was March. I pre-ordered this in March, and when the flip-throughs started coming out around a month ago, I knew immediately, oh yeah, I like the imagery better in the original Moonchild, but I didn't have the original Moonchild anymore, so I was like, okay, that's when I decided to try to cancel my order for Shadow Moonchild, and it worked. I got my money back, and I used that money to buy the original Moonchild, because I decided I wanted it back. But this morning, this is on my porch. No packing slip. The return address was somewhere in New Jersey. So I don't know if something was lost in translation. Even though I got my money back, they still accidentally shipped me my order. Or if Danielle Noel sent it to me because she knows I'm a tarot YouTuber, but surely she would have communicated with me if that was the case. Or if someone else gifted it to me. I don't know why I have this. But if you are an anonymous gift giver and you are the reason that I have this, I thank you, because I don't know if either of these are going to stay in my life, or both of them, or only one. I can tell you right out the gate, I like the imagery better in this one. I like the cardstock better in this one. However, this particular copy, let's just get into it. Heavily damaged. So, do you want to see comparisons? Okay, so the boxes are the exact same size, except we have, black with the Shadow Moonchild and white with the regular Moonchild. Let's keep them in the same orientation here. Whatever. Pretty much the same, right? It's a little bit more of a rubbery matte finish on this box, but it might not even actually be different, honestly. inside of box lid comparison. Can you see on the right we got this gorgeous glitter going on, but I do actually prefer the inside of the original. But I mean, I'm not mad at some purple roses, but I don't really like that phrase, bloom in light, bloom in shadow. I don't know, I don't really like it. So that's the lid situation. Guidebook situation comparison. They are pretty much the exact same size. Much more of a rubberized matte finish on the new one. As far as the content within, I have not looked into it. We've got font differences. Let's just get to the same page in both just to see. Okay, same page number, 9 of Cups, so it is 9 of Cups in both. But we've got, this is the regular Moonchild on top here. I like this font better. And we do have different descriptions because the cards are different. I actually went through last night with this deck and I made a pile of the cards that are the same and the cards that were changed. And it was about half and half. So about half the imagery is changed, as you'll see once I start actually flipping through it. But it looks like the rest is probably the same here. We have the same keywords. Same little phrases and shit. Yeah, I'm not super interested in that personally. But if you guys have specific questions, ask them in the comments and I will check if I still have both of these. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm really going to ship this back. After I spent a lot of time trying to fix these cards, they were heavily warped when I got them, and you can see they're still kind of warped. It's actually, on camera it looks okay, but this is a really hardy gilding, because I did have this deck before, and at first I thought it didn't smell, but actually I think it does. So I think there's like smoke damage. Anyway, this is obviously not of concern to you if you're thinking about buying either of these decks. Can you see like almost every single card is creased? And when I got it, there was like dirt on the backs of the cards, like especially where the creases were. Seriously, I went in and I scrubbed the grime off of every single one of these cards. So that's why I'm thinking about, even though I'll be out the money, as I paid $40 for this heavily damaged deck. Heavily used, I would say. Heavily used. Anyway, I'm going to stop bitching about that. I just don't know what to do. You know, now that I got this deck, the Shadow Moonchild, the one that I didn't really want. Yeah, anyway. So, more comparisons. You can see the gilding is this gorgeous, it's like a matte lilac-y, not lilac-y, dusty rosy purple with gold micro glitter. And then then this one, like, it's very damaged, but it's usually like a muted sort of yellow gold. And I don't know, it's probably not an accurate representation to compare the thicknesses to each other, although they look pretty much the same to me. Yeah, they do look pretty much the same. This one's puffier just because it's so damaged. Okay. Am I going to be able to zoom in at all? Let's see. I'm going to have to move the lighting situation a bit. There we go. Is that good? Perhaps. Thrift store tripods. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know what to do, guys. I'm so confused. I know that, like, the way that my brain works, I'm probably not going to be able to keep both of these. And this one's annoying just because of how damaged it is, to be honest. But, I mean, like, if I had paid 20 bucks for it, I would be fine with the amount of damage that this has. It just looks like it was very well loved for a long time. And probably kept out of the box, because the box is in relatively good condition. And the guidebook looks like it's never been opened. So, anyway. Okay, my main complaint, which I'm sure I will say over and over again throughout this video, is the further along in her development as an artist, Danielle Noel, I think most people respond well to this, actually, but I don't. She has, like, as you can see here with this image, it's the same image, except it's mirrored, and in this case, there's all these, like, sort of, like, softening of the edges, and it looks more dreamy and ephemeral, I guess, but I actually prefer the more crisper lines that we have here. Like, by a lot. I very much prefer this card to this card. Oh, I didn't show you guys the backs. Let's do that. So I'm really glad that she kept the same design on the backs, because I think this design is just breathtaking. Looks like little Egyptian cartouches. In the Shadow Moonchild, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there's this sort of like marbling effect. It's the same effect that you see on the box, but it's just much easier to see on the video on the box. It's that same effect that's on the backs of the cards. So I couldn't tell that when I was seeing video, so I'm just pointing that out just in case you can't tell on my video either. So as you can see, there's a lot less dude energy in the Shadow Moonchild. Okay, so let me just, little side quest bitching. So the original Moonchild, the reason that it was created, I'm gonna see if it says that somewhere in the introduction or something. I have always held my relationship with the moon as my own inner sanctum. In the same way, the ocean will often revitalize my bones, blah, blah, blah. So, like, and then, yeah, I think it says somewhere, but I don't have the patience, and nor do I want to waste even more of your time for me looking for this evidence. But the Moonchild in general, the original, was created to be a shadow version of the Starchild Tarot. So I don't understand why this Shadow Moonchild is the shadow work edition of Moonchild Tarot when it was supposed to be shadow worky in general. And also, like, you know it's coming. Like, calling something shadow work just because it's like gothier colors or more jewel tones or darker colors in general it ain't it, sis. Like, shadow work is looking deep within and asking yourself the questions that you don't want to answer. You know, it's not looking at Danielle Noel also, like, obviously you can do shadow work with her decks, but she is a pretty bitch. She makes pretty artwork, and it is gorgeous, and it is breathtaking, and it's one of the reasons it creates a lot of cognitive dissonance for me, because I love her artwork, and I want one of her tarot decks. But there are so many of them, and there are multiple versions of each one. Like, there's like at least 3 different versions of Starchild, right? There's Starchild Akashic, and then the like reissue of the first edition that's different than the regular first edition. So I think there's even like, maybe if you're talking about minor differences in the cards, I think there's like 3 or 4 different versions of Starchild, and now there's 2 versions of Moonchild. Plus, she's got so many Oracle decks out there, too. It's just like, it's it makes it confusing because I want to own one of her tarot decks, but I don't want to own more than one. But every time I look at one of her cards, I'll think to myself, well, actually, I liked the Magician in blah, blah, blah deck better, you know? So, more indecisive Libra shit. It's bothering me because I want one of her decks. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be this one. But is it going to be this one? And I just, you know, I want to pick and choose. Like, can I have the backs and the edging and the general color scheme of the Shadow Moonchild, but can I keep the crispness of the art in the original imagery? I don't know. I mean, just personally, I kind of prefer this Magician, but we erased almost all of the dudes in Shadow Moonchild, as you will see. Okay, here's my biggest. This High Priestess is everything. She's got the pillars. She looks like such a goddamn badass. I mean, look at that face. Look at the determination. Look at the wisdom. You see it. And she's got a crow. And she's got a little book over here. Like, so much really cool symbolism went into this piece. Whereas here, it's just a pretty model in a veil. You know? Like, I just... I will say, like, okay, I didn't talk about finish on the cards. I don't know if all Moonchilds are like this, but this is like a swishy mat. It's nice. It's the kind that you can wipe off with a washcloth. If this one had come with as much damage as this one had, I don't know if I'd be able to clean it, because it is rose petal. However, it's a little less sticky. Like, I think it's gonna be okay. I think it doesn't annoy the shit out of me like rubber finish usually does. Okay, here's another one. Like, I don't know why you would go from, this is just such a beautiful image to me. And just the symbolism of the hand gestures and the, like, profiles. But then here we just have, like, somebody like, This is the sound effect that I get when I see that image. I'm just not here for it. Personally. Just personally. I don't really like either of these, but this dude looks, I mean, at least he looks older, right? He at least looks like, you know, he's in his 30s at the very least. Whereas this guy, you know, I don't know. Sorry. And I just don't know why it's better to have blurrier lines. And I get that this is a matter of preference. But to me, I like, and I almost always am like this, actually. Like, if we've seen a tarot artist, which people are being able to make careers out of it at this point, right? Progress, I usually like their first deck better. Like in the case of Charlie Quintero, who made Moon Power, Star Power, Mars Power tarot. Moon Power was first. I like it the best. In the case of Devaney Wolf, who made Serpent Fire Tarot and She-Wolf Tarot, she also made a bunch of Oracle decks. I far and away prefer Serpent Fire. It's just, for some reason, the expressiveness of art, and it's not like she was in her beginning phases of art, like she had already made Starchild at this point, when Moonchild came out, but like, you can see what's going on in this image so much clearer to me than in this one. Everything is blurrier in this one. Like, you can't really see what's happening. And there's a lot of like overlay textures and stuff, which is interesting when you get right up in it. But I don't know about you guys, but most of the time, whenever I'm reading tarot cards I'm reading at night in my dimly lit little closet, I want to be able to see what I'm looking at, you know? Never liked this Lover's card. Honestly, I've never liked any Lover's card Danielle Noel has done. Yeah, I mean, like, I like the color scheme slightly better in Shadow Moonchild. However, contrast is sacrificed, sharpness of lines is sacrificed. Here's another change that I absolutely don't like, because I love this body posture. I love the, yeah, I've always loved this strength card. But here we just have, you know, another meh. Like, this chick is just like, meh. Whereas she is holding power within her body. Like, you can see that. Whereas she's just posing, you know? Oh, this is... And I see the appeal. Like, it's definitely beautiful imagery. Here, this is the same type of imagery, right? Because we have, like, a silhouette walking away or walking towards you. You don't actually know. But I don't understand this. This just, like, fuzzy white landscape, whereas here you can see she's walking through these doorways. There's all this cool cavey shit happening here. I just don't understand. And this one, texture was taken out of the background instead of having this cool, like, the Egyptian piece of the imagery in Shadow Moonchild was deleted in many cases. Like, we still have the same card here with the wheel, but to me, I feel like there's a lot more depth in the imagery with Moonchild, whereas there's like this layer, there's almost like this film of sepia over everything. Like, I mean, it's obvious in this card because here we have a black sky in the background. And here it's very sort of, and there's even layers to it. Like, there's a mistiness. It's not applied evenly. And I think that's the point. Like, you know, I don't know. Yeah. I very, very clearly prefer Moonchild to Shadow Moonchild. Even though purple. Purple! I'm saying no to purple. I'm saying yes to white and gold. No, but, you know, unfortunately I can't create my own Danielle Noel deck. How cool would that be if you could just, like, choose which back you like out of all her tarot decks and then just go through, like, card by card and pick which of your favorite Fool cards she's ever made? Like, Danielle Noel, if you're watching, I mean, I get that that would be a very difficult process to try to produce. So I know that would never happen. But how fucking cool would that be as a customer? Like, I'd be into it. I would really be into it, honestly. Because there are some images that I really like in the Star Child tarot as well. Anyway, that's the problem, though. That's the problem. Like, when you are an artist that decides to make multiple tarot decks. Okay, I want to try to concentrate a little bit more on the imagery instead of my ranting. Again, like, I don't understand this. You go from something that has symbolism. You've got this, like, red cup, blue cup, balancing angel energy. You've got these phases of the moon up here. You've got the triangle on her chest. All this beautiful temperance symbolism. And I don't understand the choice to change the image to this. I mean, yes, this is a beautiful piece of art, but this could be in any of her oracle decks with any message underneath it. There's nothing specifically temperance about this energy, unless you're talking about like the purple and the blue being sort of fire and water. That's it. And we do have, like, it's hard to tell unless you really get up there. But I don't even know if you can tell. It's not a human face, it's a statue face. Again, beautiful image, but how does that say devil? And it's very hard to even tell that there is a Roman numeral here. I also, I don't know. I like the color tone of the border here, but she took away the texture. There's no texture to the border, whereas this has a texture on the bottom. We do see a little bit more of the water in this tower card, which is nice. I think that actually is an improvement in this case. If only I could just like pick one and then forget about all of the other ones. I am just incapable of, I don't know. I'm incapable of that. Yeah, again, like we have this crispness to the lines here. It's just so much easier to see all the symbols. Whereas here, yeah, it's just like everything has like sort of a brown haze over it. I do like the addition of the sweet little face on the sun card. But doesn't this sun card, I don't know, kind of look somber next to this one? And I again, like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again, but I feel like we've lost some of the texture in the flowers here because of just like the sheen of mutedness over everything. I like this. Again, judgment symbolism. We've got some feathers and Thoth here and some doorways. Pyramid in the background. Whereas here we just got a pretty bitch mirrored. I do like this world card. I don't really like the vibe that Danielle Noel usually has for her universe cards throughout all of her decks, but this one is nice. I can work with that. This image was largely unchanged, and actually she added a little bit more texture and contrast here, like with the headpiece having a little bit more texture to it. This I hate. I mean, this is a beautiful card. Why would you change it to... I watched Cody's video that she put out like yesterday as of me taping this. She had gotten her Shadow Moonchild. And she said that this looked like a corpse drowning or something. And I'm like, yeah, it really does, doesn't it? So if I keep this Shadow Moonchild, which I doubt I will, honestly, I don't know, but I've had it in my house for less than 2 hours, so it's a crucial time period where I could either fall in love with it or decide that I hate its guts, you know? Who knows? Remains to be seen. But if I keep this deck, this card's not staying in it for sure. this card's not staying in it either way. Like, I don't need to be told when to do shadow work, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to try to go a bit faster now, but because you can always pause. The wands are the most unsuccessful in both of these decks, to be honest. I don't think Danielle Noel is particularly in touch with her fiery self. But I've spent so many years with this deck, like 2 or 3 years before I let it go. So I've made my peace with it, is what I'm saying. I've made my peace with the wands and, you know. But at least we're holding on to a world here. This is just, what even is this? No. This is pretty fucking spectacular, though. I haven't really gotten a chance to take it all in, but there's a lot of texture in this image. I think this figure is, there's a veil over their face for sure. Or they're facing outward. Okay, they're not facing us. It's probably more obvious to you if you're seeing this on a big screen particularly. But this is a breathtaking image. All these textures and colors. If I let go of this deck, I will miss this card. Because this one's never made sense to me as the Three of Wands. I mean, kind of, because like the moon is sort of a gateway over here. But yeah. I suppose I could pick my favorite from each of these decks and then just shuffle them together. That's not going to go well. That's just not. Yeah, this is pretty generic to me. And Danielle Noel is usually really good with her people list cards. However, this one, I mean, I feel like I'm not really looking at anything. Everything is through such a soft focus in this card that I can't really see what I'm looking at. And that moon looks so fucking fake. This one's always bugged me because of the angle of the person's head on the right. Like, she looks like she was probably facing forward in the original picture. But in this image, she looks like she's... Maybe she is supposed to be facing forward. If I think of her as facing forward... She is facing forward. Oh my god, all this time. I thought that they were both facing away, and her head just looked wrong to me. Of course it did, because she's not facing away. Okay, I've just forgiven this card. Never liked this Five of Wands as a Five of Wands. But this one, okay, this is a music video. Like, why, how is this Five of Wands? No. I mean, it's beautiful. I feel like this deck more than any other Danielle Noel tarot deck. And I have experience with almost all of them. I had the Star Child Akashic. I had the Star Child reissue of the first edition. Whatever that one was called. Rose Portal edition or something. I don't know. What the fuck ever. I had both of those. I had this Moonchild and now I have this Shadow Moonchild. So I've had 4. I know from which I speak with Danielle Noel's tarot decks. This one more than any other, I feel like you could take the images you like and rename them as Oracle, you know, Oracle keywords or something. I feel like this would be very usable in that context. Oh god, that's an argument for keeping both of these, almost. Like, I could just, like, totally cannibalize this deck for all the images that I do like and rename them. Okay, I have to say, do you see this? Do you see the influence? I mean, I know artists influence each other all the time, but this seems so obvious to me. So we have something that Danielle Noel never does, which a sloppily cut out eye over the third eye space. And if you look really closely, there's this eye is not from this statue. Hard to tell, but it's from something else. The most characteristic trait of ritual tarot, in my opinion, is the use of cut-out left eyes placed over other eyes and or third eyes. And that's what we're looking at here. So, I don't know if this was an intentional homage or if she was just saying, well, people like statues with eyes cut out and put over other eyes. I can do that too. Like, yes, you can, Danielle Noel, but that's not your thing. Like, she has such a distinct style. You know, also never liked this Six of Wands. But look how bored this person is. I mean, I guess it makes sense in a Six of Wands context because you get everything you want and you realize you don't want it anymore, you know? Again, what even is this? How is the Seven of Wands? Just because there are 7 wands here? This one makes sense to me because we have these 2 points. So we have like this pyramid here with a glowing light, and then we have this little person way over here holding a glowing light. She has made it to that point. She has gained the high ground. Or maybe she is on her way to here. Either way, there's symbolism here. And all I see here is pretty imagery. This, oh my god, this is the biggest reason why I like Moonchild over Shadow Moonchild. Not this card specifically, but in general. The 8s in Moonchild are almost always like this. Very Egyptian statuary imagery and a clear pathway that you are on. And I think that's interesting because it's consistent throughout the deck. I think. Let's see. Is it really like that with every 8? This one's a little different, but I know... Oh, I guess the 8 of Swords is different too. But the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles are like this. And I think it's so interesting. Sorry, I know that was like super sloppy. But this, again, pretty, I mean pretty, it is pretty, but it's pretty in like a desktop wallpaper sense. This says nothing to me about 8 of Wands at all. I mean, maybe clouds, if we are thinking about them rushing or something, but I'm getting nothing from that. Same here. Like, let me actually look at this. It's a pathway through the forest. I mean, I guess it could be, yeah. I mean, in time, I could accept that as a Knight of Wands, I think. I think the biggest downfall for the original Moonchild is that there are a lot of cards like this. Just a lot of meditating pretty bitches. But I can get there, you know? She's this close to enlightenment, 9 of Wands, through her meditations. And she's got all this energy going up. Yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but never loved this one, but this one, anyway, I don't need to be getting, like, I'm getting frustrated, like, if it sounds like I'm, like, angry and frustrated, it's not because I'm hating on either of these decks. Like, goddamn gorgeous, beautiful imagery. Danielle Noel is an artist. Other people have copied her work, you know? But they are not her. It's beautiful, but it doesn't always make sense as far as tarot is concerned. And part of my frustration is also because I know myself well enough to know I can't keep both of these. So I'm going to have to make a decision. And there are so many factors, right? Like, this one doesn't smell like cigarette smoke. This one does. This one I paid $40 for. This one, well, $50, really, because I should count shipping. This one I paid 50 bucks for, when I could have gotten it new for 55. And this one just showed up on my doorstep for free. So it's not going to be completely unbiased, however this decision unfolds, you know what I mean? I think all the pages were changed, and half the knights, perhaps. I don't like this because I want a page to be front and center, you know? I don't want to have to look for her. Again, more dude erasure. I mean, there's not very many dudes in the original Moonchild anyway. Pretty much just the Magician, the Emperor, and 3 out of 4 knights. And the kings. But this doesn't even have that. I love this Queen of Wands. I just wish there were just like a little cat head peeking over here or something. I don't know. I just like a black cat, obviously, since I have 2 of them in my house. Maybe I can cut and paste my own little black cat on one of these cards. I love this image because this person's face shape reminds me of one of my childhood friends. So, and this is absolutely, I don't know, it just reminds me of her. It makes me happy. All the kings and queens are essentially the same with the, you know, change of textures and color schemes, and obviously it's mirrored. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. This ace is possibly the only ace that was significantly changed, I think. If I remember correctly, yeah, but ace. Yeah, it was. It is. The only ace that's been significantly changed. And again, I think we're getting a very Ritual Tarot looking. I mean, just because of, like, I just feel like Danielle Noel's style is not this. Like, if she was going to have a cutout eyeball, it would be much more meticulous. You know what I mean? It would not be in the crunchy cut and paste style of Ritual Tarot, which I appreciate. Like, to be fair, my collage style is very, very fucking crunchy. So I'm not saying anything against it, it's just not her style. So why is she doing it? I mean, yes, this is a beautiful image though. And I'm not mad at eyeballs in general. Like, put a googly eye on anything and I like it even better. Any good thing can be improved by a googly eye. Same concept in both of these cards. I will say I think I might actually prefer the new one on this, in this case. Because, yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah. I do like the concept in general. Like, Danielle Noel usually does this type of thing with, like, sort of a self-love moment in her Two of Cups, which I enjoy. Okay, I need to pause because my battery's about to die, so let me switch to another battery. And I'm back. Okay. I know, like, all the flip-throughs that I've seen anyway, and I think I've seen most of them multiple times, everybody's like, wow, Cauldron on the Three of Cups. And totally cool if you love that and you have this deck. But, like, why would you go from this to this? I don't understand. Like, you could have, you know, given this card the Shadow Moonchild color treatment and kept it, because we have, like, these 3 gorgeous women doing their little dancey dance and this gorgeous landscape. My camera looks like it's bleaching this out really terribly. Full disclosure, I mean, I know we're like 30 minutes into this video already, so I should have said this at the beginning. I usually slap a filter on my videos, and I'm not going to promise I'm not going to do it with this, because if it looks pleasing to my eye, so I can't get perfect color acuity on my camera anyway, so just know that what the colors that you're seeing right now are not completely accurate to what you'll see in person. I can say for one thing, the tones are much warmer both on my camera and with the filters I tend to use. Just so you know, the color representation that you are seeing on screen is not necessarily accurate, okay? I'm not here to sell you this shit. I am trying to provide you with information, but, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice the beauty of how the video looks for perfect accuracy. Oh God, everyone's favorite tarot YouTuber. It's me. I mean, this is fine, but this is more expressive to me. Same critique. This is fine. And it is a joyful Six of Cups vibe if you're going for Six of Cups as path of pleasure. But this one says more to me. This person is literally gazing at the past. She's drawing history into herself. I don't know. Something about this one, I'm not sure what it is giving me Muse Tarot vibes. This is not the best. I think the problem with this one for me is that the cups are hard to see, and the little person is hard to see as well. I think there should be more contrast in both of those cases so that you can really see the symbolism here. I've never liked this Nine of Cups because I don't think this is an actual person. I think this is a digitally created person. But this, what? It's just like... I mean, there are a lot of textures in this, but it's so soft focus. That's just not, as you can see, that's just not my aesthetic. The soft focus shit is not my aesthetic. And particularly with that 9 and 10 of Cups, the 9 and 10 of Cups in this version, I just don't like either of them at all, and they're too similar to each other. Whereas this one, there's so much happening here. It's so joyful. These people are dancing together. There's the moon, there's the archway, there's the little rainbows. This gives me the 10 of Cups vibes. This is just a pretty image with 10 cups on it. You know? You know what I'm saying? I just feel like she sacrificed symbolism. And I know I said this already in a video I posted last week. She sacrificed symbolism, tarot symbolism. Like, why didn't you just make another oracle deck? You could have used these images in an oracle deck. And you could still have made a Shadow Moonchild by just, like, recoloring the images from this deck. Changing a couple of them, maybe, if you wanted to. But I just feel like so many of these images may have been images that she was already making. Like, maybe, okay, total conspiracy theory here. But what if Danielle Noel was making an oracle deck for Rebecca Campbell, Hay House, whatever, when whatever drama happened that we don't know about, because Rebecca Campbell's most recent Hay House oracle deck was done by a different artist that was doing Danielle Noel's style so well that I think a lot of people didn't even notice it wasn't her. Like, what if she was already making an oracle deck? for Hay House, and then they wouldn't pay her enough or whatever, so she was like, I'm out, and then she decided to use those images in Shadow Moonchild. I don't know. Obviously I'm making shit up. But I just feel like so many of these images aren't obviously tarot cards, you know? Whereas they were with the original Moonchild most of the time. This is a really breathtaking image, though. So we have this, like, the reflection in the water. Yeah. She's not holding out a cup, though. She's holding a sword. So this is not a Knight of Cups image to me, but it is beautiful. So we have a little bit more floweries happening here. Pretty much the same, except reversed. This one is not reversed. I've never really liked this Two of Swords. However, I just made my peace with it last night because a song started playing in my head as soon as I flipped to it. To be fair, I have been listening to this song on repeat lately, so that's not a surprise. But I think I associate this particular Two of Swords, and maybe all Two of Swords from now on. I don't know. This might be my new song to associate with Two of Swords. Storms by Fleetwood Mac. I really like this Four of Swords. This is a meditating bitch on a card, like many of the images in this deck, but it makes sense for the Four of Swords. In fact, it makes sense for all the fours, really, if she wanted to go that route. This is beautiful, though. I just don't see how it's a Four of Swords. I mean, the only reason why it's a Four of Swords is because there are four swords on it, and that's literally the only reason. Same photo shoot. This particular photo shoot with this particular model sitting in this particular position is Danielle Noel's favorite photo shoot that she ever did. Yeah. Every single tarot deck I think that she's ever made has featured this bitch in this position. It's the Magician card on in Star Child, I think. Slightly different angle, but it was still within the same, like, 5 minutes of this chick posing in this particular position. So I just think it's funny that she did change the image, but it's still from this exact same photo shoot. These pictures were taken within moments of each other. This one has a lot of interesting depth, like, more pretty bitches sitting in forests, like, I'm here for it. Never really liked this one. And this one's nice. You know, there's a pathway with water and swords. But again, I feel like, I don't know. This doesn't have a lot of Six of Swords specific, like, imagery either. Never liked the Seven of Swords either. I get it, but I just don't like it that much. And there's so much foreboding within this one. Like, we have the addition of sort of like this castle with a reflection. I guess this one's probably better, honestly. But I don't know, to me, something about this imagery, it makes it less ambiguous, and I like the ambiguity of the Seven of Swords. Like, you don't know if he's stealing those swords or if he's taking them back, you know? Whereas here, this person seems deceptive. I mean, at the very least, this person is hiding aspects of themselves. So I guess you could see it in that sense, but love this Eight of Swords. Always have. I'm glad it was almost entirely unchanged. Like there's a slight color tone difference. But she didn't make this one all fuzzy. Thankfully, because it's beautiful to see the articulation of all the leaves and the lace and her veil. I love it. In fact, it kind of looks better in the Shadow Moonchild edition, honestly. See, the whole deck could have been this. Could have been just a slight recoloration with purple backs. Oh, I'd be so happy right now. There would be no decision to make if that were the case. But so many of the images from the original Moonchild, if I only had this one, I would miss them a lot, and I would think about them every time I pulled one of the cards. Even this one, like, I like being able to see, you know, the way that she's holding out her leg. But you can't really see that in this one because of all this, I don't know, swamp mist she added in. I don't understand. Give us the purple, but you don't have to add like all this shit. It's like she felt like she needed to alter every single image. So even the ones she didn't really want to change, she just added some shit to it. I don't know. I just don't. It's like the, I think all artists have this tendency, possibly, or maybe not all, like that's too much of a generalization, but a lot of artists have this tendency to, like, the more that we work on a piece, the more that we fuck with it, like there's a point of no return where, like, or maybe that's not the right phrase, but there's a point where, like, you go from improving it to, like, taking it too far away from its essence. And I think, yeah, that's what I think is happening here. I love this Ten of Swords. I always have. It's like we have the painted desert in the background. And it's a more exuberant Ten of Swords, which, like, if you're coming to a Danielle Noel deck, like, of course, like I said before, you can do shadow work with anything. But, like, most likely you're not in a shadow workspace if you're using Danielle Noel's art. You're likely wanting to be gently guided through your tarot deck, through your divination experience, right? Gently guided by the hand. You know, it's not, you're not going to it for confrontation anyway, so it's nice to have a gentle Ten of Swords. Is this the only knight that's not changed? No, the Knight of Pentacles is not changed either. We'll get there. Sorry, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. It's very hot in this room. We're under excessive heat warning for a week. See, it's like, whoa, I don't get it. Like, she added layers, but somehow made it more difficult to see. Like, there's possibly more textures and more things going on, but they're all muddier. I don't think... Well, the center of this pentacle is slightly different. But other than that, I don't think there were any changes made here, besides the, like, obvious, like, slight color differentiation. I mean, she kept the same concept, but I don't understand why she changed it. Like, love and Ankh earring situation, and we've got a moth, and, like, I don't know, I just don't understand. I don't understand why some of the changes were made. Beautiful Three of Pentacles, always liked it. Never liked this Four of Pentacles. Sad she didn't change that one. Never liked this Five. I do like this one better, but I also feel like this imagery doesn't make sense with the rest of the deck. This is much more lush and green than anything else is in the entire deck. And yes, it's a pentacle, but I mean, if the entire Pentacle suit had this vibe, that would make sense, but it doesn't. I'm sad to lose this Six of Pentacles, because this one is, I've always liked it. This one's okay, but it's just a pretty image. It doesn't say Six of Pentacles in any way. I love this Seven of Pentacles. Love it. It's one of my favorites. Because I feel like we have, like, you know, these glowing lights as, I mean, it's not literally chakra, right? But it's chakra vibes. I just think this is beautiful. And this, like, what the fuck? Every time I see that, I think for a second, Six of Swords. But it's not. I don't understand how this is seven. This is not a Seven of Pentacles. This is just, I made a pretty. It's Danielle Noel's entire art collection. Look, I made a pretty. Which, I'm not trying to, like, you know, say anything bad about that. I don't mean it ugly. I like a pretty. I am ruled by Venus. So much Libra in my chart. So much Venus. I am fine with things just being pretty. Seriously, I am. But why? Why would you go from this gorgeous, like, pathway in between the Sekhmet statues, this progress through time and space and history? Like, this is a fucking magical Eight of Pentacles. Like, this gives me all the vibes that Danielle Noel wants to give me, you know? Beauty, pathways, portals. Yes, yes, yes. And then, what? Again, I'm seeing Ritual Tarot here a little bit. I used to not like this Nine of Pentacles. And I still don't think it's a great Nine of Pentacles in general. But I do like the movement. I don't know if I want to go into it. The person that is depicted on this image, if you know, you know. I don't feel totally good vibes from that person. If I didn't know who it was, that would be helpful. So this was one of the images that I was really hoping she'd change in Shadow Moonchild. And she did. However, just a pretty bitch with a pentacle in the sky, so... Is it better? I don't know. I'm glad this one wasn't changed. I like this one. However, he looks... A bunch of, like, little points of light were added to this in kind of random spacings. Like, what is that about? I don't know. Okay, we're finally at the end, guys. Our queen and Ricky from My So-Called Life. I mean, I know that's not literally him, but that's who he looks like to me, which makes me very happy. I'm into it. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. Okay, well, there you go. I have not been able to shuffle the Shadow Moonchild yet, so let's do that, perhaps. Did I even show you the bottoms of the boxes? I don't think I did. The inside? I feel like I didn't do it. Sorry if I did. So we have You Are the Dance of Light and Shadow on the original Moonchild, and then Seek the Unseen. Michael was, like, watching me take the Shadow Moonchild out of the box and blah blah blah, and he was just like, I could tell that he wasn't sure if he wanted to say what he was about to say, but I was just like, do it, what are you thinking? And he said, tarot is really wasteful. And I think what he was specifically referring to was, like, you know, the edges and the inside of the box, and like, you know, having that. I mean, like, do we really need this whole situation? Like, with the bound book and all that stuff. I mean, I get it. Like, if it's one of your only tarot decks, like, having that level of production. Like, I remember, and Moonchild, okay, so story time, and then I will do a shuffling demonstration with Shadow Moonchild. Moonchild, whenever I first got it, it was one of my only tarot decks. Like, I did get a good 10 or 15 in the first year, but I didn't have many. So when I got out Moonchild, it did feel a little special to me. I remember I used to, like, you know, like, put the box out, and, like, you know, maybe have a card propped up on the box lid or something, and I would consult the guidebook, and I'd read the whole thing, I'd done the spreads, but I don't do all of that anymore because I have so many decks. That's just yet another argument for me personally to keep my collection small so that I can appreciate these details. Like, there's no need for me to get something so intense when I already have, you know, at this point I have like 25 tarot decks, I think. 25 or 30. And that's, I mean, obviously I'm a person that culls regularly, so I'm many more than that have gone through my hands. But, okay, I'm gonna do, this is gonna be an awkward shuffling demonstration because I'm zoomed in, and maybe I should zoom out for this then. Hold please while I readjust everything. Okay, no, I don't have to readjust everything. This will work. Okay. I'm thinking I might be able to do it. It doesn't seem as thick, even though it looked like it was. Like, I can get my hands around it easier than I could the original. And I can bend it. People have said, I just bridged it. I just bridged a Moonchild tarot deck. Is it fun? Is it easy? No. But I did it. It can be done. Oh, pushing the cards together is just, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me with the rubber finish, you know? But it's okay. I think, like, in time it would break in. Look at that. I mean, this is just the sensory experience, though, of the purple, all the purple. Why couldn't it have the fronts that I want? The backs are perfect. Maybe this is, I don't know if this is an argument to pick my favorite Danielle Noel and then try to forget about the rest, or just let them all go and appreciate the beauty when it comes across my tarot YouTube feed. Just appreciate the beauty then, but stop trying to have it in my own house. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Oh, makes my skin crawl. Trying to push the cards back together. It makes my skin crawl. Okay. Let's pick a card, maybe. How about two? Two of Pentacles and Dark Veil. I'm sorry, guys. It occurred to me recently, you know, because I have a lot of videos on this channel where, particularly when I've been waiting a really long time for something and then I finally show you that thing when I finally get it. A lot of the time I'm very upset at that point. Sorry, the light is in the shot, I just realized it. And, you know, I'll just be like fuming. And I realized it's mostly because of this entire experience. And when I say this entire experience, I mean this lifestyle. The lifestyle of like getting new things all the time, of there being so many different things to choose from, of the fact that there are tarot deck artists out there that are making multiple decks. Like I said, I feel like it's diluting their art. I feel like if you're going to create a tarot deck, it needs to be a magnum opus for you. It needs to be like something you spend your time on. I don't like just the intense over the hyper-capitalism, the hyper-consumerism of it all, right? Of like, yeah, I make my living by creating tarot decks. And I guess that just means that tarot is changing, right? Tarot is becoming, it's leaning more towards, I mean, to say it's becoming this is a little bit too much of a generalization, but it's leaning more towards being a gallery of art in a box than it being totally functional as tarot. And that, I don't know how I feel about that. On the one hand, I love art. I love looking at art. But it would probably be better for me, personally, to just sit back and watch other people spend the money. You know, and we do have that advantage. Like, I think it's the wrong reaction whenever we're watching a flip through. Like, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm watching a flip through, I just want to hold it in my hands. But I think that's the wrong reaction. I think when you're the person sitting at home, getting to see the beautiful imagery without the dent in your wallet, without the pain and turmoil of having to store something in your house, having to figure out how it fits into your life, fit into your practice, etc. The decision fatigue. I think you're the lucky one. The one that's watching this video right now and thinking, oh my God, I want that. Do you though? Do you want that? I have it in my hands. Do I want it? I don't know. And probably not. But I will always, now knowing that this exists, I will be thinking about it whenever I pull cards from a different deck by this same artist. I don't know exactly what I want to say, but my God, look at these backs. I am a sucker for a gorgeous back. I like big backs, and I cannot lie. Okay, I'm stopping now. Thank you for watching, whatever this was.